With many thousands of real estate auctions happening in New South Wales alone every year, you've got to wonder why nobody really likes them. Buyers think they're going to get carried away in the bidding on the day and pay too much. Sellers think they're going to get talked into taking less than they really want on the day. And real estate agents are on edge just in case nobody bids. Well, Fair Trading tells us the more you know about the auction process, the easier it is to understand.
Auctions can be a dramatic event, but they needn't be, not if you're properly prepared.
One of the great things about auction is that it's the most transparent method of sale. Buyers come along, they register their interest with an intention of bidding, they bid with registration cards, and when they bid they obviously have an opportunity of purchasing the property.
Firstly, there's laws governing the auction process in New South Wales. That's to make sure everyone's working from a level playing field, everyone knows their rights, responsibilities and obligations through the auction process. There's rules and regulations governing auctions in New South Wales, and the auctioneer has to be across these rules. Firstly, he's got to make sure that there's a bidder's guide. That's a document put out by the New South Wales Fair Trading. That has to be reasonably available when they register to bid.
Just before I get underway though, to commence the bidding and start today's auction, contract particulars are very straightforward. Our vendor solicitor has prepared today's document. Opening bidder offer to get proceedings underway. It's going to be sold today.
The auctioneer is in complete control of the auction process, including bidding.
At $600,000 is the winning offer, and it's right in front. 610. Thanks, sir. 610. 610. Is it 20, sir? 610. 20.
At the end of the day, it's the auctioneer's call. He's working on behalf of the seller, and he works in the best interest of the vendor. You have to register to bid because it protects all parties in the auction process. Once you register, you'll be given a number, and usually you'll be given a paddle. That is your number, and you must show that number when you bid. An auctioneer cannot take a bid from someone who is not registered. We need to know who you are because you're entering into a binding contract.
First, second, third time before it goes.
It's a safeguard against fraudulent activities. You can have instances of dummy bidding or what's referred to as collusive practices. Dummy bidding is someone that is bidding on behalf of the vendor, basically to push up the price. They're not a genuine bidder.
Our vendor, our owner, they're entitled to have one bid at today's auction. Now, if they'd actually like to have that bid, as the auctioneer, I will place that on their behalf.
An auctioneer will make a vendor bid when he feels he needs to move the auction along a bit. The price isn't going up as fast as what he'd like, or they're not going in the ballpark they're looking for. If you haven't signed up at the auction, you cannot speak to anyone about that property during that auction process.
Is there any advance on 630.40? Thanks, sir. 640. Bids right now at 640.
In the event of a dispute, the auctioneer has the final say. An example of a dispute is a person trying to bid after the fall of hammer. The auctioneer has no discretion or capacity to accept a late bid. There's a range of enforcement options available to New South Wales Fair Trading. So if there is illegal conduct, we can simply warn the trader if we need to. We can take disciplinary action, which can involve revoking, suspending or cancelling their licence, which is very serious. There's penalties that attach to these offences. They can be upwards of $55,000, or we can prosecute.
680,000. First, second, 90. 690,000.
An important part of what Fair Trading does is our proactive compliance programs. That's where we will go out into the marketplace, we'll go to auctions on a Saturday, we'll be undercover and we will watch the auction process. It's really important that no one has access to the bidder's records, not even the property owner. The only people that can have access to the bidder record are authorised officers from New South Wales Fair Trading. We might do that if we're investigating the conduct of an auction. Fair Trading educates the community in this regard. We also, when there are allegations of any corrupt conduct, we'll investigate those allegations. Another unique aspect with auctions is the reserve price. That reserve is the price that the vendor has to sell at. The reserve is always only known between the vendor and the agent.
Last chance before it sells. Once, twice, third time before we sell it. Sold. Congratulations, sir. Well bought.
On the fall of the hammer, if you're the highest bidder, you've just entered a legally binding contract to purchase that property.
We've been suggesting figures of a sale price potentially around that high 6 mark. We had a reserve at 680,000 and the bidding started at $600,000 and an eventual sale price at 750,000, which was $70,000 above our vendor's expectations. So a great result had by all.
If you do not have the money to proceed, then you will be liable for damages or other sums of money, whatever's spelt out in the contract of sale. Well, the thing about auction, there is no cooling off period, and that's what you have to be really mindful of. So you don't have 5 days to change your mind. You are entering that contract and you are signing and paying a deposit, usually 10% on the day. For all those conditions, they are readily available on the New South Wales Fair Trading website.